Hey folks, Phil Gallagher here for the next installment of Daily Death and Taxes, which is brought to you by an anonymous donor who has supported this week as well as the next 3 weeks of Daily Death and Taxes. I have a new webcam and I'm working on getting audio and video levels adjusted appropriately. So I think I've done some things to make things better, but this is kind of my first recording with the new setup as well. Not with the new setup, but with the new setup post adjustments. So we'll see how it turns out. Anyway, I'm going to be taking Michael Braverman's Yorion D&T deck list that he got first place with in an event recently for a league to see how it feels. In a word, I would call the deck list unexciting. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that there's not any bells and whistles here, and there's basically no attempt at trying to abuse Yorion. So this is essentially just scaled up D&T, where there's just more copies of things that you are used to seeing. Path to Exiles in addition to Swords to Plowshares, Giver of Runes in addition to Mother, more Recruiter of the Guard, more Palace Jailer, and you fit in a couple of flex bearers that you normally might see, like Remorseful Cleric, Tomic, and then a few haymakers in like Hallowed Spirit Keeper, Mirror Crusader, and Sanctum Prelate to round out the deck list. There's nothing flashy here as far as the deck list goes. It's not going deeper to blink things like, say, Wall of Omens or Blade Splicer to really gain additional Yorion-based value. It's not all that different from what I brewed up. So when I brewed up a list that I was going to try with Yorion before I saw this, I had gone much deeper in terms of Blink synergy with Charming Prince, Blade Splicer, and Eldrazi Displacer. This deck list that I'm going to play is just kind of like more generic, just taxes stuff. Both of these ended up with 32 lands, sort of separately, which I conceptually feel like is about right, but the numbers on that are a bit weird due to the nature of some of the utility lands of D&T and like the legendary lands. This is a deck list that plays 4 Karakas, for example, which is like super weird in terms of like drawing multiples over the course of a game, but you have an 80 card deck, so you have less chance to do that. There's definitely some oddities about this deck list, despite the fact that it's like pretty normal looking. The sideboard isn't necessarily all that exciting. Generally speaking, if we kind of pull things into separate categories here, we have 6 Graveyard Hate cards and lumping Deafening Silence in with that. We have 9 cards that are good against unfair decks and 5 cards that are good against fair decks. You don't get a lot of flexibility with what you do with a sideboard when you have Yorion. If you want to draw certain effects, you just need more of them. I don't have too much else to say here. Let's just hop into a league and see how it does.